Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. I just got home from New York where I was interviewed for a documentary, and I want to talk about my trip to New York. I want to give you guys a Kickstarter update, and I want to announce the YouTube winner, the contest for a copy of the NES Omnibus Volume 1. I did a video giving away a book, and I want to announce the winner later. And stick around for this video till the end because I've got a slideshow of sorts for my New York trip, just showing some pictures from my trip of me in the studio and just me around town, having a great time. I had an amazing trip, 3 nights, 4 days, and I'd love to say that I'm well rested after a trip, but man, I am completely exhausted. I walked, gosh, between 50 and 60 miles, because that's the way I do. Anytime I go to a city, whatever time I have, I love to explore the city on foot and on bicycle, because to me, that is the best way to fully experience a city. It's the way to see all the nooks and crannies, things you wouldn't see from a car or from a subway, obviously. I just love it. I just love, even at my advanced age, I can still get around a little bit. So I'm very thankful for that. But anyway, so first, let's talk about my trip to New York. So a few weeks ago, I got an email called Media Inquiry Email, just from Lucky 8 TV. And they asked me if I was interested in being interviewed for a documentary for a particular TV special that I can talk about later. I'm not authorized to say exactly what the documentary is going to be about. It is about video games, but I can't get more specific than that. It's going to be on the History Channel, and it's going to air later this year. The exact date to be determined. But it was really neat, so I flew in, and of course I agreed right away. And thank you for Bill Logidus of Armchair Arcade for recommending me for this spot. It's awesome. Thanks also to Lucky 8 TV for contacting me. I'm really excited about this, and the interview went extremely well. So when I got into New York, one of the first things I did was go to the Nintendo store, Nintendo New York, because it was, just within a mile or so of my hotel, easily within walking distance. And so I went, and this place is awesome. It's 2 stories, it's roomy, it's well lit, well stocked. And you can't say that about every New York store about being roomy, because real estate is at a premium and a lot of stores are very small. But this is a nice place. And in addition to, just t-shirts, plushies, and that kind of stuff, there's an actual little mini museum of Nintendo history showing Game & Watches and a Famicom and, just older Nintendo stuff like that. So it's really neat. So that was nice. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys my second trip to the Nintendo New York, which I took right at the end of the trip. Didn't go as well as this first trip, but so hang tight for that. So I went to the Nintendo store. I went to a lot of my favorite locations in New York City. Central Park. I had an awesome bike ride on a gorgeous, gorgeous day. The weather was perfect the whole time I was there. Just sunny and in the 70s. It was amazing. It never got too cool or too warm. Loved it. So many of my favorite things to do in New York. This was my second trip to New York. I'd spent a couple of weeks there a few years ago when I accompanied my wife on her. She had a job-related thing in New York, and I went with her and just spent a couple of weeks exploring the city. And a lot of my favorite things to do there are free, like the Staten Island Ferry, like just walking around sightseeing, seeing all the cool buildings and everything, going to Washington Square Park and just hanging out and enjoying the street musicians, the street performers and all of that. I did all that, loved it. It was awesome. Checking out the Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. I just love to sightsee. I love to be out in nature in the various parks there and on the streets and just watching all the, a lot of interesting people in New York. Just people, just random people kind of standing around yelling things about the end of the world or about someone so-and-so is out to get you. Of course, these people obviously have some, there's people with mental problems on the streets. There are homeless people. Now, this is a big problem, but, it is very interesting. I did talk to some people, and I gave some handouts here and there to some people I talked to, and I just like interacting with the citizens. And it is sad the situation a lot of the people find themselves in, but it is interesting to walk around and talk to some of these people just to hear their stories. But anyway, I went to Joe's Pizza. I love that place. I went there twice to get a slice. Crispy crust, hot, so awesome. Love me some Joe's Pizza. And you might have seen Joe's Pizza in Spider-Man 2. That's where Peter Parker gets a job. Very cool. There are several locations in New York City. The city was very much alive, you know, with things sort of getting back to normal and the mask mandates being lifted and things. There were still tons of people in masks, indoors and outdoors, but the city was very much alive. A lot of people all over the place. Times Square, I went there every night just to check out the crazy and the interesting, just, you know, street performers. There were people breakdancing and singing and playing instruments and, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. Just people everywhere. So it's good to see the city alive, you know, after hearing so many stories about, you know, the last year and a half, and just about how dead it's been. Really sad, but it is definitely on the rebound. I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge my second to the last day. That's one of my favorite things to do in New York, is just to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. Beautiful sights, awesome. Now, I only took the subway once while I was there. When I had gotten all the way to, my hotel was in Manhattan, my interview was in Brooklyn, and I walked most places, and the production company provided a car service to and from the interview. But other than that, I only rode the subway once. The rest of the time, I rode a city bike and I walked. And I love that. But towards the end of the trip, when I ended up in Brooklyn and it was getting late and I needed to get all the way back to my hotel in Manhattan, I did take the subway. So I did take the subway one time. One of my favorite things I did in New York City was Cafe Wha, W-H-A ? Odd name, great place, historical place. The very first place that Bob Dylan ever gave a public performance, it was in 1961. It was at Cafe Wha in Greenwich Village in New York City. And I had walked by Cafe Wha last trip to New York, but I didn't see a show there. But this time I was determined to do that. I got me a ticket for Monday night, I believe it was, and I saw a 90s tribute act. So they were playing 90s music and grunge music. Great band. They played for about an hour and a half, and I was just shoved right up against the stage, practically on the stage. There's a picture of my feet resting on the stage. Really cool band. Talked to them a little bit. I was surrounded by awesome attendees. We were having a great time, and you could just feel the history there. Really early performances by, you know, in the 60s by Bruce Springsteen, Jimi Hendrix, and a bunch of other entertainers had very early performances there. And a lot of people got their start there at Cafe Wha. Very small place, small venue, but very historical. It was amazing. Even like Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor, Woody Allen, a lot of comedians had very early performances there. Really interesting. Great trip to New York City. Again, I'll be in a documentary coming up. They interviewed 2 other people for this documentary, and I will give you guys more info on that later. YouTube contest. There were more than 80 entrants in the contest, which is great. I appreciate you guys. I just did a quick YouTube video to give away a book, copy of the book. I entered the more than 80 entrants in a random number generator, and the winner was Justin Bieber. Now, not that Justin Bieber, but it is someone going by the YouTube name of Justin Bieber, who I'll be contacting soon. So congratulations, Justin. Real quick convention update for this year. I'll be at Video Game Summit in Chicago, July 17th. Classic Game Fest in Austin, July 24th and 25th. Korgs in Columbus, Ohio, October 23rd. And Kickstarter, I've got over 200 backers, and I'm almost to $20,000. This is huge because each book takes a year and a half to 2 years to write, a lot of time. So this really helps out paying for my time doing this and just paying for the books that I need to order to send out to backers. This is awesome. This is super exciting. Thanks to all of you who have backed the project. It is amazing. All right, so check out my little slideshow here of my trip to New York City, and then hang tight for my second trip to Nintendo New York that didn't go quite as well as planned. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Let me know if you've been to New York City and what your favorite thing to do there is. And let me know if you're a Kickstarter backer. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for that. We will talk to you guys in another video. Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. I'm at Nintendo New York in Manhattan. Check out the crowd waiting to get in. Anything special going on here today, or is it just Nintendo?
I'm not sure.
Not sure, just Nintendo? Something like that? You're playing Pokemon Go? Awesome, perfect thing to do while you're waiting in line. What's your favorite game? Is it Pokemon?
Yeah, probably.
What's your favorite game on the Switch?
I don't have a Switch.
Don't have a Switch? What game console do you guys have?
PS4.
PS4? What's your favorite game?
Probably Rainbow Six.
Awesome choice. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys. Hello. Man, just a standard Saturday. Anything special going on at the store, or is it just Nintendo? Just Nintendo. All right. What brought you guys out today? Any particular, what are you looking for? Just
Wedding dress, and we came here just because.
a wedding dress, and you're here at Nintendo. Awesome. Well, maybe you can, the groom can wear a Nintendo shirt, and the bride can wear.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome.
Something different.
Y'all have fun. What? Weird Al. Awesome. Great stuff. Good taste. So what's your favorite video game?
Mario.
Anything Mario. Awesome. Great stuff. Hey guys. Whoa. What's your step? Wrapping up here in Manhattan at the Nintendo New York. Awesome store. I'm glad I went yesterday because holy cow, I've got to catch a flight and I don't have time to go in today. Anyway, signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments if you've been to Nintendo New York and what was your experience. And thanks for liking and subscribing. We will see you guys in another video. If you're a fan of my work, you might want to consider supporting me on Patreon. For just a low fee each month, you get a lot of extra content. Another way to support the channel and my writing career is to buy books direct from me, including the 100 Greatest Console Video Games, the Classic Home Video Game Series. It's like an encyclopedia set. And this massive bad boy, the NES Omnibus Volume 1 A through L. I will put links in the description of this video where you can buy books direct from me and where you can support me on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.